What I'd like to talk about today is victimhood. Sometimes we've all felt like a victim. What is it to be a victim? A victim is when we're harmed in some way. But then there's a moment of being a victim to getting splashed by water when a car drove past you. And then there's victimhood, which is when it becomes our identity. Now, why would something like being a victim become somebody's identity? It's like when we've been through some difficult things, it can be difficult to just let them go. If someone was really mean to us, if we were abused, if something awful has happened to us, it can be very difficult to just go, oh, that doesn't matter, and move on. But what's our alternative? If we stay with the victimhood, what does it give us? What do we get? We get to feel like it wasn't our fault. Something bad happened, but wasn't me. I couldn't do anything about it. And to some extent, that can be true. There's also, when we're in victimhood, when that is our life, weird stuff happens around us. Like when I was young, I remember everything used to always go wrong in my life. And I guess you could say I kind of was in a victim mentality. Not that I even had the words for it at that point. But I would come home from work and find my car had been smashed at the side of the road, completely smashed to smithereens. Or another time I came home and the window of my front room, someone had thrown a stone at it and broken it completely. Now, I wasn't even there when those things happened, but they happened in my world, in my field. So, what was that about? It was about my energy. Now, what do we gain by holding on to our victimhood? We get to not have to make any changes. We get to say, couldn't do anything about it. And that puts us in a position of helplessness, a powerless position. So there can be something quite comforting in being powerless. It's like it's not up to me. The grown-ups can make the decisions. I don't know. I'm just I'm just here to fill the space. I'm not an active participant in my life. Why would we not want to be an active participant in one's life? It's like this world that we live in where we're all exhausted at the end of the day. We're all scattered and fretting and in a discombobulated state. And we just want to kind of settle down, watch Netflix and relax. That's not a very forward moving, positive, alive feeling. Now, I'm not saying don't watch Netflix. I'm just saying don't make it your life. Don't think that's the only option available to you. Instead of watching life, you could be out living it. Now, one of the things that can happen when we feel like we're a victim and we've been through difficult things, and I'm not saying you haven't been through difficult things. So many of us have been through such difficult things, and we can keep our story quite wrapped around us. I remember the first time someone said to me, "You're not your story," as if my story didn't really happen. And I was like, my story happened. That did happen to me. Almost like a badge of honor that these terrible things had happened and I had lived through it. And it had become something of my identity. And it can make us feel like the world owes us something. The world owes me a lottery win at the very least because of all that I've been through. It can feel like the world owes us something. But you know what? The world doesn't respond to opposites. The world responds to like. Energy is like. Things, so if you're in a victim mentality, chances are more victim things are going to happen to you. More cars will get smashed at the side of the road. More terrible things come your way. Whereas if you take a different position, a more sovereign position, your life can start to change. Let's say you get into an argument with somebody. Let's say it's an automobile situation and there's been some argy-bargy and you get out the car and you're having a go at each other. Somebody's probably made a mistake and somebody has probably had a very strong reaction to that mistake, let's say. So let's say somebody's shouting at you because you didn't indicate when you went to turn or something like that. And they're being aggressive towards you. What are you going to do with that? Are you going to meet that aggression? Are you going to run away from it? How are you going to react? Now, what happens on an energy level is if I'm shouting at you, you are picking up my fury. My energy is coming into you. It's literally coming into you. And the default position would be to give it back to me. If I'm shouting at you, you're going to shout back at me. If I'm saying you smell, you're going to tell me I smell worse. Where does that get us? Where are we going to spiral into with that? So given that the default is to just pick up energy from the field, from what's happening, from the engagement, if we want something different to happen, we're going to have to do it on purpose. So let's be with our scenario where somebody's having a go at you for a driving offence, let's say, or a driving situation, let's call it. What are you going to do with that? They're going to be having a go at you, and you've now got to protect your calm. You've got to protect your position. How are you going to do that? What are you going to do with that? And it can be as simple as making a choice. For example, if in this very moment, while you're watching this video, you decided to change your state and you decided, let's say, you're going to be happy. Could you just feel causelessly happy? Could you just choose to feel joy and happiness just in this moment because you choose to? Can you do that? See if you can. Just have a little moment. I'll just give you a little moment to see, can you feel happiness? And whether you can or you can't, even in the trying to change your state, something occurs. So let's say you're in this altercation with somebody, they're having a go at you. What are your options in order to protect your state? First thing is, you don't necessarily need this person to like you. We are so conditioned to be nice and charming and to be liked. It's a place of safety, but that's already been transgressed. This person, you don't need this person to like you. You don't need them to dislike you either. So how would you maintain yourself in that kind of a situation? One of the things that you could do is to just continuously speak from your place of calm. So that person might be agitated, they might be shouting at you. You might want to say to them, don't need to raise your voice. That might rile them further. How do you not get riled by the person's riledness? If you have yourself, you have choices. And even if you don't have yourself, you can start to make choices. So if you can choose, it's like a split-second choice, but if you can choose not to go into their pot with them, you don't need to get into their field with them. You could watch them, for example. Maybe they're shouting, maybe they've gone bright red. You can observe them. That helps you to take a little step back. It helps you to be just that little tiny weeny bit less engaged in their force, in their field, in what's emanating from them. Can you stay calm? Can you stay calm when someone's shouting at you? Can you hold yourself? You might even want to put a hand on yourself. It might literally help you to put a hand on your body. But maintaining your calm, feeling that you have a choice when someone's having a go at you is what's going to make all the difference to you. You could try to talk them down. You could talk to them in a kind voice. You could say, oh, I'm sorry you're so upset. I'm sorry I made a mistake. You could apologize. But maintaining your own state is the important thing in this. So I wouldn't necessarily say practice this in a car crash situation, but you could practice this in a small situation. Let's say a cashier in a supermarket isn't particularly kind to you. Can you be kind to them? Can you bring the kindness where there isn't any? Can you create that feeling of the world that you want to live in by actually bringing it? You know, was it Gandhi saying, be the change you want to see in the world? Do you know what you want your world to look like? If you know what you want your world to look like, you're way ahead already. Because then you can just start living according to the world you want to be in. So if you want kindness in the world, be kind. If you want to feel welcome in the world, be welcoming. Can you give the thing that you're wanting to receive? Because that's how energy works. Like likes like with energy. So if you are kind to someone, maybe they change their stance in that moment, maybe they don't. But something might stay with them. And if you didn't get yourself all riled up, if you've walked away from that encounter, knowing that, yeah, I held myself, I was kind, I was good, maybe they couldn't meet it. Maybe they were in such a state, maybe they were having the worst day of their life. And you're not to know that. You don't know what news they received the day before. You don't know what's just happened to their parents, to their child. You've no idea what's going on. All you see is a snapshot of their little moment. So I want to suggest you don't think the worst. You think the kindest thought that you can muster in that moment about them. See how it goes.